Hey, it's Sandy with Quilted Treasures and more. I am trying to see. I always have so much fun trying to figure out if everything is actually working. So, do I have audio? I have video because I can see. Yay! Okay, it looks like I have audio too. Yes, we are good to go. All right. So, now that I know that is good, let me get my example picture up here. Okay, so I'll keep that handy because I will need that just for every now and again. All right, so hi, how are you? Hope you had a wonderful week. I have been working on a lot of Mardi Gras stuff. And if you are not from the South, then you may be like, what in the world is Mardi Gras? Well, let's just say it has to do with a lot of moon pies and beads and parades, lots of parades. If you've never heard anything about Mardi Gras, all you have to do is Google it. You'll find all kinds of information on Mardi Gras. And of course, you'll probably automatically be taken to New Orleans because that seems to be the biggest city connected with Mardi Gras. But my hometown of Mobile, Alabama, also is a very big part in Mardi Gras. And so we kind of have a little thing going on back and forth as to who was first. Of course, Mobile. So you can check out the history on that, though, and decide for yourself. I'm not going to get into that battle. Oh, goodness gracious. We have a wonderful Mardi Gras museum here in Mobile, and they have gowns from, oh my goodness, way, way back from Mardi Gras balls and Mardi Gras kings and queens. And oh, speaking of king cakes. Oh, those are fantastic. So if you've never had a king cake, oh man, all I can say is there is a local grocery store here, which is actually based out of Louisiana, and they're along the Gulf Coast. And so they are also have several locations here in Mobile, and they make a really good king cake. Now, with that being said, we also have a local bakery that makes really good king cakes. And I know a couple of ladies, I've had their king cakes, and they make good king cakes as well. So I'm very blessed in the king cake department. I have some really good choices as far as who I get to call on for king cakes. So I am blessed in that aspect. Okay, so what do I have in front of me? It is not Mardi Gras, okay? I'll just go ahead and throw that in there. It's not Mardi Gras. This is actually from time to time, you've heard me say this before. From time to time, I will either do an order on my live or I will do a door hanger that I'm getting ready to put in one of the locations that features some of my items. So, um, this one is actually an order, and I had already started it. I had base coated it. I've been working on it. I've got the leopard print on it. So if you're wondering what in the world is all of that, it's leopard print. Now it's a little bit different from some of the other leopard prints I've done because a lot of times you will see a blob. So like there's one that has a welcome banner across the middle that I've done, and it has a blob of brown, light colored brown or a medium colored brown. And then the squiggly marks or the little print lines are actually done in a chocolate or black. So chocolate brown or black. So those, that's probably what you've seen typically. But this is also another um, version of the leopard print. And it does not have the extra color, that third color mixed in. It just has the print marks. So now it's covered in flowers. I don't know if you can see the design very well now that I've got the leopard print on there, but it's covered in flowers. And right in the middle, it says, "Hello, friends." So this is what I'm going to be working on tonight. Now, we are going to actually, oh, that was not good. We are going to do this one in some bright, bright colors. So I have got a lot of neon colors here. So let me just show you my colors that I've got here. They are bright, very, very bright. Wonderful for springtime, right? So some bright, like neon green and neon yellow and a neon pink and what I call neon orange. And then I actually have the purple is called purple cow. Now I change back and forth when I'm doing neon. Sometimes I'll use lavender, sometimes I'll use purple cow. So we'll see which one we're going to go with. Let me kind of get my thought process going here on where I'm going to be putting my colors. I am going to probably start with my yellow because it's probably the lightest of the colors that I have here. And so I'm going to kick it off with yellow. My yellow flowers are going to be this one, and this one. So I'll probably have to check this a few times. So will that sit right there? Maybe, possibly. I hope so. I don't want to drop my iPad. It's never a good thing when you drop electronics. All right, so if you are joining me tonight live, I know a lot of y'all watch on the replay because of time and all. But if you are watching on the live or even on the replay, just put hashtag replay and tell me where you're watching from. Also, tell me what kind of things you've been doing this week. We've already kicked off a few parades here in the Mobile area. We've got just below Mobile in the Gulf of Mexico is a little place called Dauphin Island, and they have had 2 parades already. Our bigger parades will be kicking off soon. I don't know the exact date, but I know they'll be kicking off pretty soon. So as we get out of January, that's the big thing. Everybody kind of gets in the parade mode and begins to get ready for Mardi Gras balls. I guess I forgot to mention that part. There are Mardi Gras balls that go along with the Mardi Gras season. So those take place. I know there was one or two last weekend, and I don't keep up with all the Mardi Gras balls. There's oh my goodness, so many different groups and so many different things going on. Other than the main parades on Fat Tuesday, it's kind of hard to keep up with all the parades going on as well. So okay, I think I said, let me check real quick. I think I said this one here is also yellow. Yes. I need to go through and hadn't really thought about that until just now. On some of these with a lot of colors, it might be a cool little trick to take a piece of chalk and just write like Y for yellow, B for blue, P for purple, O for orange, G for green. I keep saying I am going to rearrange my paint space here so that I can actually put my tablet up here where I can just look at it. And, you know, I have a lot of good ideas and a lot of good plans. I know y'all aren't like that. I can just tell. I can feel it through the screen. Y'all aren't like that. You don't, have all these wonderful ideas and then somehow they just kind of get lost in the idea list and maybe one day. I think that rates right up there with the putting items in a safe place. We won't have that discussion because I'm sure many years down the line I will be discovering things, or maybe Maybe my daughter or my great-grandchildren will be discovering things that I put in a safe place, you know. So safe you can't even find it. So, yeah, gotta love those safe places. All right, so flip this back around and you can start to see the bright colors as I am just coming on for a second round of neon yellow. Adding that to some of the flowers. Like I said, I've got pink and blue and purple. So this is going to be a very bright, bright colored door hanger. Welcoming in spring and friends and getting ready for all those fun, warmer weather activities. Being able to hang outside and enjoy some time outdoors. Here along the Gulf Coast, it's kind of crazy because we have, you know, kind of flip-flops in our weather sometimes. And no, I don't mean the shoe, but I have been known to wear flip-flops in January and February. So, you know, yes, it is true. I have actually worn flip-flops in January and February. Growing up, I can remember a couple of Christmases where we were in shorts and t-shirts. So yes, I remember that as well. All right, so I just figured out one slight problem when I was doing my um, leopard print. If you notice on this one little leaf, I have a leopard print that is shining through quite brightly. See how that one's shining through? So, what in the world am I going to do about that, you might be thinking? Well, you're going to have to start all over is probably what you're thinking, but no, I'm not going to have to start all over. Just have to make a little adjustment. Sometimes with our colors, they will cover, and it's kind of funny because this one is what they call a patio paint, which is usually kind of an outdoor type paint, which means it's a little thicker. So I would have thought it would have covered that and I wouldn't have had a problem, but not the case. So I'm going to let that dry, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over that petal with white and get it covered up. And before I jump too much further into this, I know that's going to be brown, so I don't think I have to worry about that being covered. This one might give me a little trouble. So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm not even going to squirt this into a square. I'm just going to go right out of the cap. I do that from time to time whenever there is something small that I'm working on. I will just get a little paint in the cap, and all this is I just shake it up good and then take the cap off. No major tricks of the trade or you know, secret tips there. All right, so we'll add just a little bit more. Cover up the gray. And that's what I did the leopard print with, was it's called sky gray. It's a very light colored gray. Now this particular door hanger was part of a I believe it was last year's spring workshop, if I'm not mistaken, is what this door hanger was, where I got the pattern for this door hanger. And so a spring workshop that I took part in, this was the pattern that we used, the template that we used for our project. And the colors were a little softer on that one, but for this order, I was challenged to make it brighter. So I am excited to see what it looks like with the bright pop colors of the neon. So we'll see how this turns out. So I'm really looking forward to see this one when it gets all the little colors, all the neon colors added in. All right, so I think I can get away with using the same brush. We're going to try, because it's just a flat tip brush, but it works really well with these petals. And so I'm going to keep using it. So it's funny that some of the colors that I choose are actually called neon, like the yellow actually is named neon yellow. But this pink color, which is a bright, and to me, it's a neon kind of pink, but it is called azalea. And I really like this pink color. I've used it on a lot of I've done a few beach balls for summer, and I've used it as part of one of the neon colored beach balls that I did. I've done a red, white, and blue, or a primary color beach ball, I should say. And then I did one that was neon colors, and this was the pink I used for the neon color one, and I really liked it. It's a very bright pink. Makes me think of spring and all the new life popping out. I noticed the other day that it was still sort of daylight at 5:30, 6 o'clock. So I was like, oh, we're going back the other way. As you go through, of course, time change and then heading into December, you notice that it gets darker earlier and earlier. But then once you start toward the end of January and getting into February, you start noticing that, hey, I'm out and it's 6 o'clock and it's not dark yet. So that's always the first little hints that, hey, spring is on the way. And to let you know how confusing the temperatures can be from time to time here along the Gulf Coast where I live, I was out trimming some of my bushes that had died back from the winter. And so I was out trimming them yesterday, I believe. And I actually saw an azalea bloom. And I was like, oh, that's not good. I cannot tell you. I think it's been like maybe the past 3 years, that my azaleas have bloomed way too early. I have one azalea bush right beside my house that always loads up with azalea blooms, and it is so beautiful when they all open up and the bush is just full, and it's this color pink. Kid you not, it's this color pink. I love it. And it's always cool because normally, okay, when we have a quote normal season here along the Gulf Coast, it's like really, really in full bloom around Easter. And so I've always had, when my daughter was growing up, that was the big thing, was to have Easter pictures in her Easter dress by the azalea bush. But the last few years, with the flip-flop of the weather, we have not had a blooming azalea bush at Easter. it blooms like multiple weeks ahead of time, and then by the time Easter gets here, all the blooms are dead, and it's a sad little looking bush because all the buds need to be clipped off. So I'm like, oh, when I saw the bloom yesterday, I was like, not again. I'm like, I don't want to see early blooms. Ah. All right, I think I just have, yes, I only have two with the pink. So now let's see. From pink, I think I will move to purple. And my purple ones are going to be this little guy right here, and he has a little bit of white on him. And that's the only purple one? Really? No. Seriously? Okay. It's all right. I'm good. I'm good. I'm all good. All right. Let's see here. Okay, hopefully I didn't put too much purple in there because I'm like, oh no, what if I put too much? Getting the brush rinsed out real well. So I saw where some folks were posting on Facebook with and other social media places with snow, and I was like, oh my goodness, snow. That's so weird when we're running around in short sleeves and flip-flops. I actually have not had flip-flops on this past week. It was kind of chilly a few days, so we actually, I was trying to think if there was a day I actually just, well, I had, no, I had a long sleeve shirt yesterday. I was like, maybe I had on a t-shirt yesterday out doing trimming, but no, I did have on a long sleeve shirt. All right, so that's my lone little purple friend there. I am going to have to go over my pink one more time. There are some colors that you need to go over more than once, and since my yellow is nicely dried right now, I'm going to set that right in the middle. I am going to take my white and just fix my little shiner here. That's what I'm going to call him, just a little shiner. It'll take a couple of times and then we'll be back on the road to get him all squared away. All right, so now that I have the purple, and I'll add one more coat to that here in just a minute. So now what's left is orange, blue. I do have to do my greenery, so I do have my green set. And then a couple of these have brown. Well, I say a couple. All of them have brown because they all have either an outer portion showing of the base of the flower or the centers. And so everything is brown on that. So we will get our brown taken care of too. So yellow, pink, purple. What do I want to move to next? Maybe blue. Yeah, let's go with blue. So this blue is called Desert Turquoise. Now, I've used a lot of different colors that I don't really know of a true neon blue as far as paint goes. Now, as far as fashion goes, yes, I was around for the neon phase in the early 80s. So, I do remember all the neon colors. I had a bright neon pink sweatshirt that I wore to school. And yes, on certain days, Um, with my fair skin, I would technically glow neon pink. Lord have mercy. All the things you never wanted to know, right? All right, so I have one flower here that is going to be this blue color. Now, this one is kind of an experiment. I'm going to see what this looks like. I may come back and top this with a little bit different shade of blue. I'm going to see how this one turns out. I looked through my blues and I have a couple of different blues that I have used on the neon colors. But to be honest with you, this one I have not had that long. This is a new color for me. And I just got to looking at it and I was like, "Ooh, let's try this one and see what this one looks like this time." Now, of course, like on the beach ball for the summer door hangers, I have used, primary blue because I did do a beach ball that was primary colors. And I have used a, I don't know, it was more of, um, I guess, a teal, more of a greenish blue. Maybe turquoise is the better word for it. Well, no, this one is desert turquoise, isn't it? Yeah. No, the other one was greener, tinted. Oh, I know what it was. It was mermaid tail. That's what I used on that beach ball. Well, I mean, it's a beach ball. Mermaid tail just kind of fit. So we went with that one. And this one, like I said, I haven't had this color long. It's called desert turquoise, but I really like this color. Makes me think of, actually, I had a tumbler I did. It's a cross and cowhide. And I thought about this color or I thought about that tumbler when I saw this color. All right, now the last one I have is orange, but before I get to the orange, I'm going to go back and touch up. You know what? I'm going to do something a little different here. Let me have my marker. Thank you. Periodically, I have little containers that Shanghai my stuff. Sometimes my paint pens will produce a thicker layer than I can get with paint. So I'm going to go over this real quick with a white paint pen. It may take a fuzz longer to dry, so I'll go ahead and do the pink and get that taken care of. So back to my brush. Make sure I get all the blue out because I don't want all the purple flowers. I want all the pink. Oop. Want all the pink on my pretty flowers. So this week, what have I got on the order list? This week um I have this floral one that I'll finish this one up tonight. I have this floral one. I have another floral with stripes. I have ah I have a family initial on a floral banner. So I have quite a few. I do have some more Mardi Gras. 'Tis the season. I do have, let's see, is it 2 more Mardi Gras? Yeah, I think I have 2 more Mardi Gras on my list this week. 2 more Mardi Gras and okay, this one is not I'll go ahead and tell y'all. I wasn't gonna say anything, I was just gonna do it. But I showed it, maybe it was in a story, a little sneak peek kinda. I, um I have one that's a crawfish. It's the back of a truck with all the stuff for a crawfish boil. So I have that one that no, that's not an order, but I had some other things come up with crawfish, and I thought, you know what? This is one thing I haven't seen. Is like a crawfish boil on the back of a truck. And I'm, hello, where else? Crawfish boil truck, they just, south, it all goes together. So I did a design with a truck and crawfish bowl. So that's one that I'm going to be painting, and it will probably go, unless it's claimed, after I show it, it will probably go in one of the locations that feature some of my pieces. So, all right, so my purple is touched up. It is ready to go. I still have, that's the only thing about some of the neon colors. Now, the purple, which is purple cow, it does really well on covering in roughly 2 to 3 coats. The yellow does really well as long as you don't have something like that boo-boo that I did. It covers usually in 2 to 3 coats. The pink is one of those that you just have to kind of work with it. Man, I dropped. Okay, good. That's almost dry. So that didn't hurt it. The pink is one of those that sometimes requires 4 coats. Just depends on the paint. And it's the same paint brand. So I have no idea what the deal is with the different pigments and how all that works as far as some colors will just cover much easier than others. Maybe one day I will get an opportunity to tour a paint factory and ask them that question. See, I'm the odd person. I find things like that very fascinating. There's a show called How Is It Made? And think I think a lot of that show was aired on public television, I think. And shows like that are just super fascinating to me because I was the kid who, ooh, how does that work? I'll never forget, this is way off track, y'all. Squirrel. Um, I'll never forget being, I don't know, maybe about 8, 10, somewhere in there. My family had gone to Sears, going shopping for something, don't remember what. But I remember there was a washing machine and it had a patch in the front that was clear. You could see through it. It's not that they sold it that way. They wanted you to see how the machine worked. To me, that was the coolest thing. I wanted a washing machine like that where I could sit and watch it work. I remember when dishwashers came out. I remember going in some electronics store here in Mobile, and they had a dishwasher that the door was made of plexiglass. You could watch it work, and I was like, that is so awesome. So, see-through music boxes. I have one. Yes, I do. Because to me, it's just awesome to watch. I like to watch the nuts and bolts, when they have movies and stuff where they're up in gigantic clock towers and you're watching everything click and turn and the gears. And so, yes, places like the hands-on museums, science museums, those are really cool places for me because I just become one gigantic kid because I'm like, oh, how does that work? And sometimes I like to figure that out. But it's kind of weird because I never really tore things apart. I never took things apart to see how they work. I just always tried to watch and listen. And then, of course, sometimes if there was, an opening of some sort that, maybe a toy had a crack in it or, I didn't break it. I did not break it. Okay. I'm just saying it had a crack in it. I'm not pointing any fingers. Kind of peek through the hole and see how something worked. That was me. Now I do remember taking my roller skates. Um, I'm trying to think what was going on with my roller skates. Something was going on with the wheel, and I remember taking it off and looking at something within the wheel itself, and then having to put it back together. I do remember that. But I think inventions are fascinating. I enjoyed going through the whole Da Vinci exhibit that talked about his different inventions and how he did things. And I loved watching the workings of his inventions. I was like, oh my gosh. Now, would I necessarily think of something like that? No, can't say that I would invent anything like that. But I find it very interesting to watch how other people, how their brains work and things that they create and how they make it all happen. So I'm the person who likes to do the field trips that, go to places like bottling places where they bottle, milk or colas or something and watch the process. I remember the first time I saw the little round white pellet things that they make 2-liter bottles out of. And I thought that was the coolest thing. Here was a handful of pellets, and it became a 2-liter bottle when it was properly when it went through the proper process. I thought that was the neatest thing. Probably my favorite year of science was ninth grade because ninth grade, I went through a physical science class and we learned about gears and pulleys and engines. And to me, I was in heaven that year. And then the next year I had to take biology and we went from uh, biology was just not my thing. Now, getting to watch how a pulley was made or understanding how a catapult worked, that I was all about that. And I still am. I love to know how things work, how things are made. Orange. I have an orange. I knew I was forgetting one more color. I'm like, okay, where's that last color? I'm letting the white dry really well on that one yellow flower, and then we'll fix him. But I have got to get this little orange one taken care of. Let's get our little orange friend done here. Now, one little trick that you can do if your paint is a little on the see-through side, you can always mix a little white with it to help with the sheerness of it or the transparency of it. But you have to be careful because, like in this one, I want it to be the bright neon colors. And so by adding the white, I soften up that bright pop. And so for me, it's better for me to take the time and add 4 to 5 coats and get that really bright neon color rather than adding the white and toning it down a little bit. All right, I'm gonna let my little orange friend hang out there and dry. I'm gonna go to green because I've got quite a few little green leaves and I am going to need a smaller round brush. Let's see here. Maybe not you, maybe you. I know that sounded so bad. Not you, not you, not you. Yes, you. What can I say? It's not everybody's turn every day. Now, the only thing about the round brush is that it's going to mean a whole lot of strokes for these leaves, and that is not what I wanted. But I have some really, really skinny points here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the skinny points done first and then come back with a little bit thicker brush and take care of my thicker leaves. That way, you know what? I just remembered those might be filled in. I need to look. Are they just little circles or are they filled in? Let me check real quick. This design, like I said, is a design that oh, they are filled in. Oh, hey, that's even better. It means I don't have to follow that little skinny line all the way around. This design was actually a spring challenge, the spring challenge from last year. I haven't seen what the spring what the spring workshop will be this year. Of course, We are just in the last days of February, so I am getting just a little bit ahead. Isn't it crazy how some months of the year just fly by and then other months you feel like the brakes have been put on? And I think I saw something the other day on social media that had day 875 of January. I was like, "Oh no." I don't think it's been quite like that for me. I think for the most part, January has probably now, it did not go by as quickly as November and December. I'll go ahead and tell you that right now. But, you get so many things going on with the holidays, and you've got family things going on, and you've got events going on, and you've got friends events going on, and, you know, get-togethers, and so I think that just all the busyness of the holidays and everything that surrounds that, and I wouldn't trade any of that. I would not trade any of that. But I think that's what helps to make all that kind of fly by or seem to fly by. Yeah, I'm gonna come back and go over that in a little bit and let that dry real well. All right, so I do have another leaf there, but I have decided I am not going to do the leaves with the teeny tiny round brush, or I will be here for a while. So we're just going to stick to all the little pieces, the little lines, and then we shall come back. And did I just run my finger through? Oh, okay, good. I was like, oh no, that's the orange flower. That's the one that I just painted. And for a moment, I thought I had really messed that up. But thank heavens, no. That orange is actually dry, so I can come back and add another coat to it. And my yellow one is looking a little better. That's a really light gray, and I am really shocked at how much is shining through that neon yellow. Oh, so now we're getting some green in the picture. I always find it so cool as you start adding the different layers of colors, how everything just starts to come to life. When you started out, it was just this piece of wood with some lines, and then you get to working with it and you add a little bit of color and you think, okay, well, two colors, and I still don't quite see it. And by the time you get to your third, fourth, fifth, however many colors are in it, then you're like, oh, look. And even though you've got sketches of it, because most of the time, especially when I do like the workshops that this one was part of, you've got videos where you paint along with the person who's hosting the workshop, and they've sent pictures and they've posted pictures of what it's going to look like when you're finished. Even though you see that, there's still just a little bit of difference whenever you finish it and you're looking at it going, oh, wow. And sometimes it's that way whenever I'm working on a door hanger. I'll send pictures to the person who's ordered it or to the person who's asking about it. And it doesn't seem to matter how well the light is, or if it's out in the sunshine, natural light. It just isn't the same. It doesn't look quite the same. Sometimes it will be close, but a lot of times it just doesn't look the same as when you're actually standing there looking at it. Yes, I stuck my hand in the green paint. By, by now, y'all ought to know that I'm not going to get through much without sticking my finger, my hand, my elbow, something in paint, or getting it on my hand and my fingers and, putting it on my face. Done that before too. Y'all, I may have to do another one of these. Wow. I really, really like the bright, bright colors. Like I said, the original, the workshop version that we did was more of the lighter pastel colors, and it's still pretty. Don't get me wrong, it's still pretty. But like I'm saying, by the time you get through with the winter months, I'm liking this one with the really bright, bright. And I'm spinning this around a lot. Some nights I don't spin the door hangers around quite as much as I'm doing this one. Actually, y'all, I just realized I think my chair has shrunk because I'm like, normally I can lean over a door hanger pretty good, and tonight I feel like it's just if I lean, I'm going to be all up in the paint, and I think what has happened is my chair might actually have come down a little bit. I can remember one time I had an office chair that it had been around a while, and it was beginning to. I noticed about every third or fourth day, I felt like a 4-year-old sitting at my desk. It's way down here. And so I was like, oh my goodness. So I kept having to, it became the routine every day to come in and make sure my chair was up high enough. I hadn't thought about it. It just dawned on me. I was like, you know what? I really do feel like I can't lean over and get to my door hanger quite as well. And I'm trying to think of the last time I actually adjusted this chair. So yeah, it may have actually worked its way down a little bit. All right, we're going to change to a little bit bigger brush. Let's see. All of the leaves are pretty. Oh, no, I don't want. Do, 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 do. Let's see. We'll go with this one. Oh, wait. Nope. That's not what I thought it was. Okay. We're going to go with this one. right, I'm not sure. Somehow I managed to do a little splatter of the green. Hmm. All is well, all is well. We had to have a baby wipe handy, so hey, baby wipes to the rescue. Had a small chunk of paint that decided to latch on to that one. I'm like, no, 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 get out of there. I don't want you in my flower paint or leaf paint. Sorry. It's the leaf, it's not the flower. So just making my way around and getting the leaves covered in our neon green. Now, sometimes people think neon means glow in the dark. No, this will not glow in the dark. I did not do it last year, but I actually thought about doing a Halloween one with glow in the dark paint. I thought that would be super cool. I did not do it though. I should have, but I did not. I've seen the glow in the dark paint, but I've not tried any of it. I've not purchased any of it, so I'm not really sure how well that'll work. But, you know, curiosity. So we're getting close. Close to seeing it all put together. This one's still a little bit on the wet side from my last pass, so I'm just going to gently go over it. Same here. All right, so get it back around here. Oh, I forgot. I got to go back over the orange again. I just happened to notice. Oh, time to put another coat on the orange. I got caught up in the green leaves and the green stems. So see now the orange is one of those colors that I think I've only put 2 coats on that and it's covered. So, you know, you never know. Now then, oh, our brown. We're going to get the brown done and then we can do the hello friends in the middle. All right, now this brown is called cinnamon stick. And I know the first thing you think of is Christmas stuff. But the color that this is, I was like, oh yeah, I like this color. And so I'm going to use it on all the little flower centers, because to me it's a little brighter than it's a little bit brighter brown, if that makes sense. I didn't want a really dark brown because it's such bright colors. But I mean, how do you have a bright brown that's like a bright black? You know, that doesn't make sense. And I could have used the honey brown. I like the honey brown a lot, but to me that was too light, and it wasn't gonna do with for the main center of the flowers. I was like, no, needs to be somewhere in the middle. So cinnamon stick stood out. Oh man, I got cinnamon stick. I feel like the commercial, you got chocolate in my peanut butter. I got cinnamon stick in my green, my neon green. That's not good. I need to use the neon green again, and now I have cinnamon stick stuck in it. It's okay. We have more little compartments. We'll just add some more green. I could push it out of the way. So I'm just making my way around, putting another coat of brown in the center and on the base of some of my flowers. And once I finish this, then I'm going to add color to the lettering in the middle, and we'll finish up with all of our outlines. And I may come back and do one more round of the brown here in a minute. I'm gonna have to go back over the other green. See if I can get away with dipping beside where the cinnamon is not in the green. Being very careful. Ah, now how was that still wet? I don't know. We'll come back to you. And I may have to come, yep, I'm gonna have to come back to you. Okay, we'll come back and touch those up in a little bit. Finish up these two. And we're going to go to our lettering. Now, for the lettering, I am going to get my black paint pen. Let's see here. This is the tiny one. I think I am going to see if the next one up will work. Because if it works, let's see, find a spot that's not too Okay. I think this one, make sure I'm not going to stick my hand in any wet paint. Oh, really? I went backwards. One thing to remember, if you are right-handed, it is always best to not go from right to left when you are lettering. I would have been fine if I hadn't turned it. But when I turned it, that's when I stuck my hand in it. Nope, that's not white. That is cream colored. This is the bigger white one. This is the one I like to use for touch-ups, usually. I grabbed the smaller one a while ago. Because periodically you have little pieces of paint that will drip here and there, or little splatters from when you're painting. Paint pens make it very, very convenient to do touch-ups. They're also really good for lettering, such as this. See, if I had left it sideways, I would not have stuck my hand in that letter. Now, I will say this, with some paint, some lettering, I do have to come back with a paintbrush, a very skinny paintbrush, and clean up the edges. And the reason being, because these are etched, sometimes the paint pen will not go down into the little etch groove there. And so just to make it completely clean and nice and neat, I like to go back with a very, very tiny brush. And as weird as this may sound, I have found that sometimes going upside down with my lettering comes out a lot cleaner. Don't ask me why. That makes no sense. All colors are neon. Yes. Oh, thank you very much. I think it's turned out pretty cool as well. I'm sorry, I got sucked into my colors here and missed my comments. But yes, the pink is called azalea. The yellow is called neon yellow. The green is apple green, but it's the closest thing I could find to a neon green. So not all colors have a quote named color that is neon, or at least I'm sure they exist somewhere. They just weren't at the craft store I was at the time when I was buying the neon colors. So I have actually gone to the paint, uh, like I use Deco Art, so I have actually gone to Deco Art's website and ordered specific colors that I could not find in craft stores. So, but yes, these are the colors that I use when I am looking for neon colors because they are the closest things that I have found locally in my craft store that I would consider neon. Now, like I was saying, I will come back with a very, very small brush and clean up the edges where the paint pen doesn't quite fill in. And I can also create a little shadow if I wanted to. So I'll clean that up. Basically, what I wanted to do was get it to a point where I could show y'all what it will look like once it is all finished. I skipped a leaf. How did I pull that off? We'll get him in a minute. Poor little leaf. I did not mean to skip you. So, yes, this is very, very bright. But I like it. I mean, you know, you have friends come up to your door and I mean, this just it says hello friends, but it just like, you know, hi, how are you? Welcome to my house. I really like these colors. All right, that is not the brown. Here's the brush I was using for brown. All right, I'm gonna go over this one more time and then I'm gonna start doing outlining so that way everything will stand out and be a little well more, a little, boy, I can tell it's getting that time of night, little more defined. What's that latest saying now? I'm not Englishing. My daughter just walked through. What is it that you say when you get tongue-tied? I can't English today? Me? Yes, what is it you say? My English is not working. Oh, her English is not working. Okay. So that's my problem right now. My English is not working. It must have already gone to bed. Oh my goodness. All right, so I am going to, I don't want to use the really skinny one. I'm going to go back to, that's the skinny one. Did I put the other one up? I guess I stuck it back in the thing. All right, I'm going to go around all of these. And that way, you can see the defined lines of each flower. And again, what I'll do is I'll come back with a very small paintbrush. And fill in those smaller crevices that the paint pen don't always seem to get. So I try to keep a very small paintbrush handy. And that's part of my touch-up and finishing that I do. Mm-hmm. So I'll get the outlining done and then we'll add a few highlights. And then tomorrow I'll finish up the little fine details as far as filling in the little spots that need to be filled in, any touch-ups that I need to do. There we go. And then sometimes when the pen's not acting right, it helps just to prime it a little bit. Now the leaves and stuff, I'm not going to use this thicker paint pen. I actually have a skinnier paint pen. This one is a 5M. I have a 3M that I will use along the leaves since they have skinnier lines. But just on the flowers themselves, I'm using the 5M to go around because I like the thicker lines for the flowers. Now what's crazy is I primed that pen before I started, and I've got all kinds of hit and miss. But then when I primed it the second time, then it started filling in all the creases. So I may not have to use the tiny brush. I may can just prime it and go back over it and get it to fill in. All right, so almost done. We have just a few little highlight marks and then we'll be through. I'm not going to highlight everything tonight. I'll highlight a few things that I feel like are okay. I want to go back and touch up the brown just a little bit on the bases of the flowers and the centers. And so I'm not going to do highlights on that just yet, but I am going to do a few highlights on the leaves, not the leaves, the petals themselves. The leaves will get some highlights too, but I want to make sure that I get those outlined before I add any highlights to those. And with that, like I said, I have a smaller paint pen that I'll go around these with. So you can kind of see what that looks like. I'll do this one here. Now on the skinny stems, I can do one of two ways. I can either only run the black down one side and just leave it almost like a shadow mark, or I can run it down both sides, in which case it will be kind of on the skinny side. but it just depends on how it looks. A lot of times I'll start one way and then I may add the other. I just like to get it kind of going and look and see how it's looking, and then I make a decision as to what to do with the final once I've had a chance to look at it. And sometimes I sleep on it. It's I had one workshop I was taking. I remember a girl got very frustrated with the way her piece was looking, and they told her, they said, "Look, just stop and take a break, leave it be, get a good night's rest, and tomorrow morning look at it and see what you think." And so she did, and I mean, I've done the same thing too. I've started something, looked at it, and went, I just can't. It's not working. I can't. I don't like it. Something's wrong with it. I can't figure out how to fix it. But I'll go and, either go to bed or I'll go do something else and come back later on. A lot of times I'll wait till the next day, and then you're just looking at it with fresh eyes, and you've walked away from it, and you come back with a different thought process and different uh, mindset. And so you come back and you're just like, oh, okay, well, hey, I don't like this about it, but if I do this, then it will change it. So that's what I do a lot of times. So just adding a few highlights. And then I'll add some to my leaves as well once I finish um, getting all of them traced out. So that may take a little while though. So, but you get the general gist of what this one's going to look like when it is completed. My flowers are basically done. I do have to add some little highlight marks in the centers, but I'm going to go over the brown one more time, and then of course, finish out around my leaves. And I'm going to get up in the morning and look at it and see if I want to do the shadow look where it's just kind of along one side, or if I want to do both sides. So we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. Then once I'm finished with it, once it's completed, again, the English is not working right now, but once it's finished, I'll take a picture of it. I'll post it on my page. I hope y'all all have a great week. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and, watch me do the whole spring neon thing. I know it's a little bit probably on the early side, but hey, there's already spring stuff out in the stores. So we've already surpassed Valentine's Day as far as retail goes. So I guess I'm just, getting into the groove with all the retail stores. Well, y'all have a great week. Have a great night, and I'll see you next time.